Hey guys, it's Jimmy Bremner, CTOA, Urban Trail without Dexter. He's at the Dog Hotel back in Canada, and I'm here in Rome right now. So I finished up for the day, and I promised you I'd do an urban bag dump. These are more urban kind of survival tips for you, travel tips, if you will. In my experience in traveling, and I travel a lot, there's about typically two types of tourists that you come across. One is about 38, into their 70s, maybe a bit better, and typically they're rolling along a piece of luggage that looks like a small refrigerator. Usually have 2 or 3 of those things, and I don't know what they're packing in there, but it seems like a lot of stress to me. The second one is the about 17 to 35-year-old, and they look like they're ready to jump with the 10th Mountain Division. They've got a giant pack on their back, they've got a front pack, and the only thing they don't have is leg bags. And I'm not getting that at all. So when I pack, this is just like my day pack, and it's a dry bag. I'll get into that. But I carry like a small overnight bag, handles and a strap, and it's not that big at all. The clothes I have on me now, typically I wear first tactical pants, and I'll explain that because usually I'm working when I'm away, and so I can do my tactical kind of thing. But first tactical pants are dressy enough that if you had to go to dinner, you could put on a sport jacket and actually look pretty smart when you went out to dinner. So it kind of helps you cross a line. If I had my way, of course I'd be in my Levi's, but like I said, I don't like to pack a lot of stuff. So I have my green first tacticals. I have my khakis, and always have to have socks. Got 4 pairs of socks, and I wear the compression socks, because it helps. Because I walk everywhere, and I'll talk about that. And then of course, nothing else really changes for me. I don't have on, my good jewelry, because again, there's certain places I go where you're more likely to lose it. I don't need to, show who I am. I just need to know what time it is and, acknowledge, that I'm married. So again, for me, I can get by really easily on very little. All right, so once I'm situated in my room, and I have an Airbnb not far from here, the Coliseum, actually right across the street, but I can cook in there, and I can prepare meals, and I can save a bit of money that way, and I don't have a problem going out for a meal. But if I don't have to, I won't. Okay, so I can prepare my meals, and I can get around for the day. So I walk everywhere. You need to understand that. I'll talk about subways and trains and things like that in a second, but I walk everywhere. With the Google machine, I can look up the history of sites and what I'm looking. I can do all of that. And I prefer a map. And in my little compass, just looking for me, but my map and my compass is what I prefer. I don't have a whole lot of luck with Google Maps, especially when you're walking, and cities like this, I don't know if it can see the satellite all the time, and so the GPS doesn't work as well as it probably could. And I ask people. Best person to ask, cab driver. They know everything. If I was going to need transit, usually what I do is I find a seasoned cab driver, and we make a deal at the beginning of my stay, and that person looks after me when needed throughout my stay to take me distances that are further than a block where I care to go on a train or a bus. Now, so what do I carry in my dry bag? Well, the last few days it has been raining, and this keeps all my gear dry. I love a shoulder bag for a couple of reasons, okay? You'll notice here, especially in Rome, people carry their packs on their front, and the reason they do that is because of pickpocketing, and it's bad here, okay? You got a pack on your back, they'll slit it and they'll dump all the contents out, and they'll be gone before you know it. When you're in a subway here or a bus, you're packed in seriously like sardines. It's no exaggeration. So you can't even move and feel. You couldn't even respond if you wanted to somebody, on your back getting at your gear. Now this bag, it's super tough, and even with it on my back, you're going to have a hard time cutting through that. And then that said, you can swing it to your front. So why is that important? You're going to be going up all the time, okay? You're going upstairs constantly, all the time. You're always going to be going up. And I find it a lot easier when I'm going up an incline to swing my bag around to the front, the weight's on the front, now I'm leaning forward, it's actually helping me ascend that incline or stairs, all right? So I like a bag that I can move around and I can get at the contents as fast as I can. So what are the contents? Like I say, I'm out and about all the time. Got to have your toothbrush, brush, and a razor, okay? I constantly shave. I don't like to be unshaven. It just, for me, I just don't like it, and so I like to constantly be able to shave and do that. You always have to have your hygiene, your toothbrush, wipes. You've got to have them. Not every facility that you're going to go in here is going to have TP in it, so you want to have wipes with you all the time. Plus, when it's really hot, it helps with just kind of cooling off and a bit of hygiene and sanitization. So have wipes with you. Obviously, you got to have a headlight. Okay, IFAC. I always have an IFAC with me. Okay, this again is a SWAT T. It's a lot more compact than the SWAT, the other tourniquets that are out there, the soft T and the other ones that it'll come to me. It just escapes right now. I've got my quick clot, I've got my space blanket, got my Israeli bandage. In terms of cordage, I have this strap, and it can act as a secondary tourniquet if I should need it. I always have cordage with me all the time. Water bottle, always have a water bottle, and this plastic I put in there, it's just to seal it, give it an extra seal, because it'll leak, right? No matter what you do, it's going to leak, so I take that time to do that. Okay, my cards. Again, these are old hotel cards that I wrap duct tape. I wrap that sponge tape that is a quick wrap, and I have hockey tape on it, so I always have this tape with me. Of course, you've got to have, trail mix and a snack with you with your water. I carry a lighter, not because, I'm going to be in a position, again, this isn't the bushcraft or fieldcraft, but a lighter is really good at breaking the ice, okay? So when somebody's, smokers, they always have cigarettes, they never have a light. So it's a good way of making a connection, opening up a conversation, so it doesn't hurt to have a lighter with you in that regard. Okay, so when I get off, I don't, like I said, I do carry on. I don't like to put stuff underneath because, I lose bags. I just can't do it. And I like to get out and move. So that said, as soon as I get out of the airport, I go to a dry goods store, hardware store, whatever you want to call it, and I pick up the European multi-tool, which is a wine and bottle opener, and it has a tiny little blade for opening packages. I'm not batoning wood, I'm not doing any of those things, but it has everything that I need, and guess what? It's not illegal to carry, okay? The police aren't going to do anything if they find this with you, because everybody has them. It's a commonplace kitchen utensil, but it does all the things that you need it to do in an urban setting. Then in this case, I picked up a really cheap, X-Acto type knife that I'll discard before I return, and I can do some fine, slicing, tomatoes and things like that for my meal. Zip ties, straps, whatever you want to call them. Of course, a fork. Gotta have a fork. And I carry some Tylenol and some Benadryl in there. Always have a hanky with me, just because it's nice to be able to, cool down, dry down. I can put some water in it, wring it out, and again, I can use this as an improvised bandage or sling or what have you. It's cotton, you can make fire, but again, I'm talking urban environment. And I carry all that in a dry bag, right, with some extra duct tape on it for improvised bandage and things like that. I tell you, the duct tape came in handy the other day because I got a couple blisters on my feet. And so the duct tape has come in handy. The blisters have subsided now, so we're good to go. Like I say, my little map and compass and something to write on. I depend more on my map and compass, even in cities that I'm unfamiliar with. Again, go into the first hotel you see or at the train station. You can pick up a map of the area that you're going to visit, and it just makes it a lot easier. Don't be afraid to ask people. Like I say, whatever country you go to, pick up about 20 phrases of the the indigenous language. In this case, it's Italian. 20 to 50. And so let's talk about let's get through two other things. My cover element, my poncho, okay, it's a heavy duty poncho, I carry that. Carry my rain pants. Always have some gloves with me. And like I said, over the past few days, it rained pretty hard, so the poncho or the rain gear came in really handy. If I had to stay outside, could I with this gear? Yeah, 100% I could. Again, your clothing's first line of defense. I have enough clothing that even, I could stay quite warm wrapped up in this poncho if I needed to. So let's talk about shoes. I'm wearing Merrell shoes. They're a hiking shoe, but they do they help me, for my run in the morning and my, my fitness. And then, they turn into a nice hiking shoe for the day as well. So again, I'm not packing tons of things in a suitcase on an airplane. It's all really compact, on the go type of kit. Okay, so now let's talk about some of the perils of traveling. All right, so if you're going to get in Rome, you're going to get something called the Termini, okay, which is the train station, basically. And at the train station, now let me give you a tip. If you're unsure in any country that you go to, stand back and watch how people buy tickets and the process that they go through. Okay, just stand and watch. And after about 10 people go through, you'll understand exactly what to do and you won't need anybody's help. The reason I say that is you're going to have people come up to you and ask you if you need help. These people do not work for the train station, the particular train carrier. They do not work for them. Okay, it's a scam. And eventually they'll be in your pocket in one way or another. So just stand back and watch how people do it, or find somebody in a uniform. Again, over here, you're going to see police officers and soldiers everywhere. Don't be afraid to approach them and ask them, because they're a trusted source, all right? They're going to help you. I just came from the Jewish quarter today, and the security there is crazy, okay? But it's a really interesting historical thing to see, so I went and visited that. But again, there's people here to help you everywhere you look. The other thing in the train station, you want to put your phone and everything else in your front pockets, okay? Keep your hands in your pockets as much as you can. Your passport, your money, everything in the front pockets. Because, again, it's like sardines in there, and this is where people will get at you. And before you know it, you'll be looking for your phone and it'll be gone, all right? So some people will get these, and I encourage it, these things that go around your neck for your phone. I actually encourage that for a couple of reasons. One is people who have their phone out over a bridge taking a picture, and away goes the phone. And the other one is, again, it prevents people from, just taking it from you. The other thing you have to watch out for, people are going to approach you with these little items, and they're going to put them in your hands. Then they're going to ask you for money. They usually come up and say, hey buddy, where are you from? You're an American? Where are you from? And then they start a conversation, right? And people generally speaking are very, very nice, and they enter into a social contract really quickly, right? And then you'll have this piece of junk, you spent 10 euros on it, next thing you know, you got 4 of them, and there's 50 euros out of your pocket, and it's junk, okay? And if you really want one, you can find them lying on the ground all over the place. I picked this up off the ground as an example to show you about these particular scams. Again, there'll be people selling maps and things like that. They don't work for bus companies, okay? You're better off, as I said, go to a hotel, get a map, learn how to read the map, figure out which way north is, and then just ask people, cab driver, law enforcement, people in the hotel how to get somewhere, and they're more than happy to help you out and point you in the right direction. You're going to get lost a bit. Doesn't matter, I got all day, right? You're on vacation, so don't worry about that. Probably the last thing I'll say, the subways, again, if you buy a ticket, you hear the horns in the background. When they're off the horn here, it means to look out. So when you're on the subways here, they're packed and they're not very clean, and but if you have to use one, buy a ticket that's good for about 5 days, and then you can use it 24 hours a day and back and forth, and you're not buying that ticket over and over and over again. So that's probably the best way to do that. Make sure you have travel insurance, because the horns just reminded me. When the light goes green here, they're on the gas. I mean, they're on the gas like Dragway Park, okay? And the cars aren't the problem. The problem is the scooters and motorbikes. They're on the sidewalk. It's crazy. And most of the back streets here are like little labyrinths, okay? And you would think there won't be a vehicle there, but they'll come tearing down those little pathways on those bikes, and you're really got to watch yourself. Obey the lights, okay? Obey the lights. You'll see people crossing against the light, and if you get hammered by a car or a motorcycle, and you're crossing against the lights, your health insurance isn't going to help you one bit, all right? So it's take your time, be patient, wait for the light. So I think that's really all I've got to say. I covered a lot here today. The next one I'll do for you, there's a huge flea market this coming Sunday, and I've been before, and it goes for miles and miles. I'll do a video from there for you, just so you can get the scope of it. And I'll be busy up until that time. Last thing I'll say, this morning, as I was walking here just in front of the Coliseum, the soldiers, the engineers are putting up a lot of bleachers and things like that, because it's Tour Italia, the bike race. And hopefully, I'll be going home next week, but I'm hoping I'll get to see some practice runs, some time trials before I go. Really exciting stuff if you like bicycle racing. I used to love the Tour de France when I was a young man, and hopefully I'll get to see a bit of that. So those are my travel tips. I thank you for watching all the time. Be safe, as always. And it's Jimmy Bremner, CTOA, Urban Trail in Rome, without Dexter. See you when I get home, buddy. Okay, all of you, take care of yourself. Jimmy Bremner, CTOA, I'm out.